in the Chopped kitchen, we've turned back the clock. Who will stand the test of time? And who will be chopped?
Oh, my heavens.
Get ready to go back in time for a competition that celebrates the nibbles and trends of decades gone by. But first, let's meet the 4 new chefs who will take on the challenge. First, here's Chef Peter Freeman.
I'm the head jerk at the Brooklyn Pharmacy and Soda Fountain in Brooklyn, New York. Soda Jerk operates the soda fountain.
How are you?
This place has been here for over 100 years. My specialties are wild, zany sundaes and egg creams. I've been cooking since I was about 10 years old. I do have a background in professional cooking. I baked my way through college. I lived in Hawaii for 7 years, and I was a personal chef. Cooking for me has always been about improv and creativity and imagination. Those are the things that I'm going to bring to this competition.
Next up, Chef Crystal River Williams.
I'm the co-owner and chef of Julia's Beer and Wine Bar and Norma's Corner Shop in Ridgewood, Queens. I've got 5 buffalo flowers all day. I cook elevated comfort foods, mostly because I love tradition and the way that makes you feel. Here you go, boo-boo. Grilled cheese. I had a childhood that was very different. My mother was not mentally healthy, so I had to find ways to feed me and my sister. And I think that's why comfort food means so much to me now. I may look like a sweet baker, but in reality, I'm one tough cookie.
Next up, we welcome Chef Connie Rule.
I'm the owner, chef, and manager of Follow the Rule, located in Broomfield, Colorado.
So I'll let you plate one, and she'll plate the other one.
I grew up in a restaurant family. My dad had his own Italian restaurant in Hollywood, California for 40 years. My style of cooking is a little bit avant-garde, continental. I use a lot of Italian ingredients because of my history, but I've been influenced by having lived and cooked all over the world. I've worn every hat in the restaurant industry. This gives me the certainty to be the next Chop Champion.
Buon appetito.
And finally, we have Chef Ozzie Carson.
Yeah.
My name is Jeff Ozzie Carson. I'm the kitchen manager here at I Don't Know Sports Grill in Chester, Virginia. My style of cooking is old school. Old school cooking is cooking with your heart and soul.
Get out of my way, man. You're not chopping these onions right.
I cook with a rock and roll flair. Take chances, don't look back, regret nothing.
Rock on!
I'm bringing rock star attitude and cooking like a 5-star chef. I am here to rock and roll.
Hello, chefs.
Hey, Dad.
Hi.
You are here for our Back in Time competition.
Sweet.
Every basket will be like a culinary time capsule with foods that are a blast from the past, putting a retro spin on each round.
Back in time, that's my wheelhouse. Even when I try and be modern, I'm retro.
There are 3 rounds, mandatory mystery ingredients. If your dish doesn't cut it, you will be chopped. Please open up your appetizer baskets. And we've got spiced ham in a can, crab aspic molds, orange space drink, and spinach. 20 minutes for round 1. Clock starts now.
Since it's a retro-themed competition, I'm going back to my roots. I'm Sicilian, so I'm making a pasta dish for the appetizer because typically in Sicilian households, they will have the pasta before the main meal. So I'm making a spiced ham, penne pasta with an orange drink balsamic sauce. Take the spiced ham and I slice it thin and I add it to my pan along with some olive oil. And then I start browning it to get a nice crispy coating.
I think the retro theme is fun. When I create recipes, a lot of times I actually read cookbooks from the 1920s. So when I see the ingredients, I'm thinking that I can make a milk toast with a creamy spinach and crab sauce with some crispy spiced canned ham. That's very retro. I put some butter in the pan as well to make it extra crispy and rich. I definitely feel connected to this theme.
So this spiced ham, it was one of the things in World War II that a lot of our GIs were able to really survive on in the Pacific, and that's why it became so popular in Hawaii. It kind of stayed there after World War II.
To this day, it's an icon of that state.
I see the canned ham, and instantly I think about my time in Hawaii, where I was a personal chef. They use canned ham for all sorts of dishes, and I know that I want to bring in an egg element with it. So I'm making a spinach and crab omelet with orange powder fried ham. I'm using the orange powder to season the ham because when I fry it, it will caramelize and balance out the saltiness of the ham.
I'm so thrilled with the idea of this theme because for me, nostalgia is memories I have of my dad's Italian restaurant. But my style of cooking is more international. So I'm thinking, let's go Asian. I'm making a crab, spinach, ham spring roll on top of a tangy ginger orange sauce. I'm sauteing some garlic and onion to richen the dish, give a little umami to the spiced ham.
All right, chefs, you've less than 15 minutes on the clock.
I'm going to use this orange space drink to make a sauce for my pasta. I add balsamic vinegar on to give it a cut of acid. I remember drinking orange space drink as a child. The television was besieged with commercials. Drink orange space drink. It's what the astronauts drink in space.
I love the orange space powder. I grew up drinking it. It's near and dear to my heart.
It was a phenomenon in the 70s.
So now it's time to start on the orange space drink vinaigrette. I take the top part of the aspic that has the herbs in it and some more parsley. I really want to pull in those flavors from the top of the aspic. And then I put in a little bit of the orange space drink and some fresh orange as well. I'm going to use the bottom half of the aspic mold that has just the crab to make a cream sauce with the spinach. I didn't have the typical childhood. My mother wasn't really capable of caring for me or my little sister. So it meant fending for ourselves. We had to dig through bus bins. So I actually took up cooking as a profession because it's very healing.
Aspic is the drippings from something that has been roasted, that has been chilled into a gelatinous mass.
It's the retro bone broth.
It's hard to make it really flavorful.
I'm using the crab from the crab aspic with onion and butter. I let that cook on a low heat for a little while, put base in my omelet. If I won the $10,000, I would put it back into the Brooklyn Pharmacy and Soda Fountain. Soda fountains really disappeared from the landscape of Americana. And I feel like it's a very special thing to be able to hold that space for future generations.
When I see the orange space drink, I am thinking I can make this into a tangy orange ginger sauce with a little bit of Asian chili paste. It'll work really great in spring rolls. So now for my spring roll filling, I'm tossing the crab, the spiced ham, and finish it off with some spinach.
Chefs, you've got 5 minutes to get it done.
He's going. I realized that the wonton wrappers are way too small for what I want to do. I have such a hard time getting it to roll. I can't get it rolled. I'm starting to think I might not get 3 of the best ingredients on the plate, and that would just be humiliating. Oh, my heavens. Oh, my heavens. I'm freaking out. I have such a hard time getting my wontons to roll. Behind you, sorry. But finally, I get it rolled up, throw them in the fryer. I just don't want to fail.
I want to make a salad with fresh spinach, but I also want to add arugula. Arugula is really nice and peppery, and I think it'll just bring another dimension to my orange space drink, aspic vinaigrette. I just bought a house last week, and this prize money would be going towards the renovation and to create the life that I want for me and my kids.
All right, chefs, you've got 2 minutes to get this done.
I siphon out the spinach and I add it to my orange space drink pasta sauce. Then I finish my pasta in the sauce. And then the pasta is best served in a bowl because it keeps it nice and warm. Then I pour some spiced ham over it. I was classically trained, but then I add my Aussieisms, which is doing what tastes good for me. Yummy.
Add the spinach and the cheddar cheese to the omelet pan and start to cook it. Everything is going great, and then all of a sudden I realized I've only made one omelet. So I have to pick up the pace. I have 2 pans going, and I'm making 2 omelets. I still have 1 more that I need to make. I turn up the heat on the pans.
All right, chefs, 1 minute left.
I start scrambling to get the crab and cream onto the toast. My plates are starting to look really messy, but at the same time, I don't want to leave anything off.
All right, under 30 seconds, folks.
Finally, my omelets are done. I take that orange spiced ham and I get it on the plate. And then I add an omelet on top of the spiced ham.
Okay, we are down to the wire, folks.
This is it. Put it on the plate.
All right, chefs, focus on your appetizer in-game here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. Please step back.
I'm looking at my plate. I'm thinking it looks pretty good. Colors are great. I think I did it.
I'm actually kind of disappointed with myself. I really wanted to make vibrant colors and layers of flavor, and I'm looking down at a piece of toast with salad and sauce all over.
Chefs, you have arrived at the chopping block following the first round of our Back in Time competition. Your appetizer baskets contain spiced ham in a can, crab aspic molds, orange space drink powder, and spinach. Chef Ozzy.
Today I made for you a penne with a orange space drink, balsamic citrus reduction, and crab salad.
I like the way the crab and the ham are just very unadulterated, very clean. In your mix of pasta, I think maybe a little more spinach in here would have been good, like for a little more freshness.
This dish has a lot of promise. I think conceptually it makes sense. I just think the execution is really wrong. Did you make the drink?
Yeah, I actually made the drink and I reduced it with some balsamic to try to cut through the sweetness.
But you grabbed a very sweet vinegar.
Right.
You know, balsamic is one of the sweetest vinegars there is.
There's an elephant in the room. Did you just like wake up one day and say, I'm Ozzy?
No, actually, I am a semi-professional Ozzy Osbourne impersonator. And so I just kind of incorporated that into my life. And I've always had long hair. I wear dark sunglasses because I have light-sensitive eyes.
All right, Chef Ozzy, thank you.
Thank you.
Crystal, what'd you make?
I made for you today a creamy spinach and crab smothered toast with crisp spiced canned ham, spinach and arugula salad with orange space drink vinaigrette.
This dish is very retro, so it's suitable to the theme. So that smothered crab and spinach reminds me of that crab dip in the 70s. They used to serve at parties. And I love the buttery toast.
I'm happy you called it toast. I'm happy you didn't call it a crostini or something like that, because a toast to me is exactly this. But canned ham was used poorly. I think you crisped it up too much. It's extremely salty.
I think the arugula is better than the spinach, but the spinach was in the basket, and I just kind of feel like if you're on a double date and your date is less exciting, you gotta just go with it to the end. Then ask the other person out the next day.
That sounds good.
And I would just be careful, because sometimes good cooking without the basket front and center gets you chopped.
How did you start cooking?
Well, you know, I kind of had to. My mom was not around a lot when I was younger. She had a mental illness. So it was kind of on me to take care of me and my little sister. And, sorry, oh my God. So I would cook for us. And watching my sister be happy eating was very inspirational to me, and I carry that still to this day.
Thank you, Chef Crystal. Next up, Chef Peter. Could you please tell us what you've made?
I made eggs. So it's a retro theme when men were cooking back in the day. There's eggs for breakfast, eggs for dinner. I grew hungry, eat some eggs. So I made you a spinach and crab omelet with orange powder fried ham.
It's sort of retro. It's breakfasty. It's very manly.
You used the orange space drink on the ham?
Yeah, I just patted it on and fried it in a little bit of oil and just let the heat caramelize it a little bit.
Putting the powder on it rendered that very artificial flavor to even be more enhanced. And it made this extremely acrid.
It's overcooked. It doesn't taste good. That flavor lingers.
You have a classic old school soda fountain. What sorts of things do you serve?
We're making very complex sundaes, milkshakes, floats, sodas we make by hand. It's entertaining.
And finally, Chef Connie.
Today I've made you a ham, crab, and spinach stuffed spring roll on a orange ginger sauce.
I absolutely love the fried wonton with the orange and orange drink glaze. I mean, it tastes like I'm a kid and I'm eating noodles with too much duck sauce in a Chinese restaurant with my parents. It makes your use of the orange drink the best of the round for me. I think it was really great.
It was really risky to put 3 basket ingredients inside of that one thing. I just want something else to make it feel like it's an actual filling.
I'm looking at my colleagues' dishes. I have like a minute amount of all the filling. And I think that just happened because you were pushing it to the end. And it's hard for me to judge because I just don't have the same experience.
You grew up a restaurant kid? Your dad had a restaurant?
Absolutely. This theme is perfect for me because my father was born in the 1800s. He was born in 1893. He was 67 when I was born.
Oh my God.
So I totally relate to retro, especially about food.
Okay. Thank you, chefs.
You guys feeling nervous?
I am.
I'm feeling comfortable. All right, guys.
Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah.
Right, I'll see you in like 1930s. I'll see you in the next century. I don't feel 100% confident about the ham, so I think there's a chance I could get chopped.
I am not feeling nervous at all. I am ready to rock and roll and get this thing going.
So, whose dish is on the chopping block? Peter, you've been chopped. Judges?
Chef Peter, the idea of your dish was a good one, to make an omelet, but the canned ham was burnt. And so we had to chop you.
I guess I'm feeling a little bummed. I could have finessed it a little bit more. But hey, I go home and drink an egg cream.
Chef Crystal, Chef Ozzy, Chef Connie, please open up this second back-in-time basket. And you must use TV dinners.
Wow. I don't even know what meat this is.
Flying saucer candies, a cheese ball, and lima beans. Your 30-minute time limit starts now.
The theme of Back in Time is great. You can pull from whatever time you love. I'm nostalgic for my grandma. She was this wonderful, warm, caring woman. And I think that that's why I gravitate towards comfort food, because that was what she cooked. So I'm gonna make a TV dinner soup and a nutty grilled cheese sandwich to go with my soup. I start with the base of celery and onions and carrots. And then I add some canned tomatoes. I grabbed 2 of the TV dinners, and they are still frozen. I think that the meatloaf and the mashed potatoes will thicken it up a little bit more. I always tie soup to feeling safe. I think it's nostalgic for almost everybody.
A lot of these foods remind me of my grandparents. My grandmother and my grandfather used to cook all the time, but then these conveniences started to become part of what was in the grocery store, and to them, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Oh. I grew up eating TV dinners. They were an easy way for the family to sit around the TV and just veg out. I'm making a TV dinner flying saucer ragu over rice noodles. To make the base of the ragu sauce, I take some of the flying saucer candies and melt them down. I add a little bit of red wine vinegar to it to cut the sweetness. I grab frozen blocks of gravy. I add carrots, some peppers, and some celery. I know that the meatloaf needs a lot more unctuousness, so I grab some bacon I put that in there, and I just let everything cook down. Met my beautiful wife, Joni, on a dating site, and in her profile, it actually said, cooking skills a plus. So cooking helped me find love.
We were not given TV dinners as a kid.
Oh my gosh.
When farm to table wasn't even a thing, we were farm to table. My father was born in Avellino, Italy, so I thought this time I'm going to go back to my roots. I'm going to make linguine with a lima bean pesto and TV dinner meatballs. I put in the candy exteriors as a binder for the meatballs. Unfortunately, the ice from the frozen dinner made everything kind of soupy. So I grabbed panko to soak up some of that mushiness, and I tossed the balls into panko and then throw them into the pan.
All right, chefs, less than 10 minutes to go.
The key to this basket is just use the powder in those flying saucer wafers.
Yes, open those and make a vinaigrette or something. Yeah.
When I taste the flying saucer, I immediately think, okay, sweet. So I figure I can add them to the soup. I want a little sweet dimension in there, but these flying saucer candies are not melting. So I break open a couple and just put the filling inside. I'm using the cheese ball in the soup to really make it creamy. And I'm also gonna throw in some lima beans. I know I'm putting 3 basket ingredients in that one pot, but this is me taking a risk to try to provide something for my children. I just really wanna make them proud.
I put my entire cheese ball into a double boiler, and then I add heavy cream. And then I'm gonna add the cheese sauce to some rice noodles. I know I made pasta for the appetizer round, but I had a nausea. I know my flavors, I know what works and what doesn't, and I'm not afraid to take risks.
Look at the clock and realize I have only a few minutes left. It's gonna take a while for that linguine to cook, but I better get that in the pot. I scoop out the center of the cheese ball and whisk it together with milk, and it makes quite a tasty cheese sauce. I'm going to win top because I have my father watching over me. That has to make me a winner.
My kids are big fans of grilled cheese, and I've been making it for them since they could walk. I grab a loaf of white bread and fresh mozzarella. I spread the outside part of the nutty cheese ball, and then I top it with mozzarella so that they can get the creamy and the nuttiness underneath the mozzarella and the bite of the mozzarella on top. And it could be gooey, and they could dip it in their soup.
Chefs, you've got 5 minutes to get it done.
I look at the lima beans, and I know that I don't want to boil them, so I decide to make a puree. And I'll put that on the side. I notice that they're turning into a frozen mush, so I add a little bit of chicken stock. If I win the $10,000, I would like to take my wife on a vacation and put the rest of it towards my catering business that I'm trying to start. It's always been a dream of mine to be a business owner in the food industry.
Chef's got to call the 2-minute warning now.
All right, you should be plating by now. Let's go.
Oh, my good mother, God.
I'm making a spin-off of a pesto with the lima beans. I have basil, olive oil, the cheese with the walnuts from the cheese ball. I make sure that I don't overcook the lima beans, blend that all up, and toss it together with my pasta.
All right, chefs, 1 minute left.
The last minute. Push through.
I am worried. Wish I had more time to oven roast the tomatoes and make everything fresh the way I normally would. And I'm hoping that the creativity of it can save me.
Chefs, have you made enough progress to finish in the next few seconds? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Please step back.
I'm looking down at this mess of noodles and cheese, and I'm thinking, I'll be lucky if I make it through the next round.
I just keep thinking about that soup and all of my ingredients being inside of it. I just hope that it works, or this could get me chopped.
Our back-in-time entree round contained TV dinners, flying saucer candies, a cheese ball, and lima beans. Chef Ozzy, what do we have?
We have a bacon meatloaf ragu with a cheddar rice noodle and lima bean puree.
Anything in this basket that you ate as a kid?
The TV dinners and the cheese balls from my mom's parties.
You've done a really nice job playing the tartness of the cheese with that vegetal grassy quality of the lima beans.
I agree with my colleague. For me, the real star of this is this lima bean puree. But were you at all thinking about your previous course where you gave us pasta and then you're giving us noodles on this one?
Well, yeah, I added a lot of my Aussieisms to it. That's where I take something from the dark recesses of my mind and I add it.
That's great. But the noodles themselves are hard to eat because of their texture. They got cheese sauce on them, then they just clump like an overcooked pasta.
All right, Chef, so why do you want to win Chopped?
I'm gonna take my wife on a vacation and start a catering business. Crazy Train Express.
All right, thank you, Chef Ozzy.
You're welcome.
Next up, Chef Connie, what do we have?
I have a flying saucer meatball on a lima bean pesto linguine topped with a cheese sauce.
I like the cheese sauce. I think the cheese sauce with the pasta makes sense.
The meatball and the walnut lima bean pesto are great. The meatball, it's sort of like a falafel. It has that kind of textured grain feel that I really like.
But the dish needed some freshness, some herbs.
Yeah, I appreciate the addition of the basil, but by virtue of you cooking those lima beans and not cooling them down, you kind of muted that beautiful freshness of the basil.
Okay, thank you, Chef Connie. And finally, Chef Crystal.
Today, chefs, you have a creamy vegetable soup with an open-faced, nutty grilled cheese sandwich.
I'm getting a sense of who you are from the choices you made. You had a giant cheese ball in your basket, and you went and got more cheese. I love the grilled cheese. I'm actually almost sitting on my hands so that I don't eat all of it. Problem is, I don't like this soup at all. Not remotely. It's got too many ingredients.
There's a taste of the soup that's kind of sticking to the bottom of my palate, and I'm trying to figure out where that's coming from. But there's respite in the fact that there's the lima beans, there's the fresh vegetables. When I get in that and then I slather it on this, which is absolutely delicious, that's just fun.
I agree with Aaron. And I think you did such a good job here by going at it with a lot of fresh vegetables. And you brought in fresh herbs here.
What motivates you to compete here?
I bought a house last week.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I moved upstate with my boys. I'm trying to create a forever home and build my kitchen. I need exactly $10,000.
No kidding.
I am not kidding.
All right, we've got one basket left, but first, one more chef has to leave us. Thanks, folks.
I'd say that was a tough basket, but...
That was a tough basket.
My idea of wanting to do the retro thing, yeah, I'm changing my mind on that.
On to the next one, right? Right, if we're lucky.
Yeah.
I'm a pastry chef. I want to go to dessert so bad. If I don't make it, I'll be really bummed.
The judges told me that they didn't like the fact that I made pasta for both rounds, so my head's gonna be in the guillotine. Please don't chop me!
So, whose dish is on the chopping block? Are you most like Aaron, Alex, or Amanda? Find out which Chopped judge matches your personality by taking our quiz at foodnetwork.com/chopped. So, whose dish is on the chopping block? Chef Connie, you've been chopped. Judges?
Chef Connie, we really appreciated the effort of the pesto, but you chose to add the lima beans while they were still hot, and they diffused the flavor of the basil. And so we had to chop you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been a lot of fun. Well, I'm disappointed because I know I'm better than that. If I could go back in time, I definitely would, and go back to the beginning of that course.
Chef Crystal, Chef Ozzy, like an oldies radio station, we're celebrating nostalgic hits, in this case, culinary hits. Are you curious about what's in this last basket?
Absolutely. The $10,000 at this point is so close.
Let's rock and roll!
I absolutely believe that I can win this.
All right, then, please open them up. And you've got marshmallow sandwich pie, ambrosia, powdered milk, and a Shirley Temple. Clock is back at 30 minutes. The dessert round starts now. So dessert with a little nostalgia in it is usually a winning combination. What bit of childhood do any of you see in this basket?
The ambrosia, definitely.
Yep, my grandmother made it whenever there was some sort of event. This is so exciting to see it in the basket because I've never seen anybody try and make anything else out of it.
Ambrosia has got a sweet, creamy, tangy fruitiness to it that really, really screams ice cream. And I notice it has coconuts and mandarin oranges, and I automatically think Asian flavors. So I'm making an ambrosia-infused coconut ice cream with an Asian Shirley Temple foam. I grab the coconut milk for the ice cream. I'm going to fold in the ambrosia when it's done. I'm really pushing the bounds of my creativity in this dessert round. I've never made ice cream before, but I'm going this route because what the hell? I live my life taking chances, and that's rock and roll, baby.
My grandma used to make ambrosia for me, so I have a very soft spot in my heart for ambrosia. My grandma was probably one of the most influential people in my life. I learned a lot about food from her. I'm making a no-bake ambrosia cheesecake with a Shirley Temple raspberry sauce and a marshmallow cookie crust. I grabbed the cream cheese, granulated sugar, heavy cream, and lemon zest to make it a little fresher. And then I add all of my ambrosia salad. I see all the extra liquid coming out. I'm thinking that the dried powdered milk would be a really good thing to sop up all that moisture and bind everything together. I think that my idea is a good idea, and I know Grandma would be proud.
All right, chefs, 20 minutes left on the clock.
A Shirley Temple is normally a mix of ginger soda, sugar water, grenadine, and a maraschino cherry. It's a sugar bomb.
Wow, that takes me back. I love Shirley Temples because it takes me back to my childhood. While my dad was having his adult drink, I would have my Shirley Temple. And so, you know, I could hang with the big dogs for a little bit. I'm thinking of making like a fruit foam with the powdered milk and reconstitute that with the Shirley Temple. I add kaffir lime leaf and lemongrass. Those are great Asian flavors.
For my cheesecake crust, I know that it needs a little bit of nuttiness, so I grab some pecans, maple syrup, cinnamon, brown sugar. I grab the marshmallow sandwich pies, throw it into the food processor, and I use brown butter to bind everything together. The majority of my experience is as a baker. I have pastry skills and pastry degree, so that puts a lot of pressure on me, but I can taste it. I can taste the $10,000.
I take the Shirley Temple mixture and I pour it into the charger, and then I'm going to turn it into a foam. I shake and I shake and I shake, and the only thing that comes out is liquid.
All right, only 5 minutes left, folks.
I'm really struggling to get this charger going.
So in classic form, a chef is having a problem with the whipped cream canister.
Yeah.
This foam has 2 basket ingredients, and if it doesn't work, I know I'll definitely be chopped. I'm struggling to use the CO2 charger. I'm like, oh no, this sucks. I add another cartridge to it. Finally, my foam comes out. I'm thinking to myself, caramel sauce will go really well with the ice cream. So I take my marshmallow pie, break it up, process it into crumbs, and put that in my caramel sauce along with some almonds for texture. My wife would love this dessert.
All right, chefs, you've got 2 minutes to get this done.
I'm making a Shirley Temple raspberry sauce. I'm gonna use some raspberry jam to give it a nice creamy texture. I start scooping my filling into the marshmallow sandwich pie crust. I'm really happy with the way this is going.
Chefs, you've got less than a minute.
Done. I go over to check on my ice cream, and it's the consistency of soft serve, which is where I wanted it to be.
All right, chefs, this round is nearly over. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Please step on the back. Oh, my God.
Wow. I know that I made a $10,000 dessert. This dessert is beyond rock and roll. This dessert is rock and roll heaven.
I'm feeling really proud. I think they look beautiful. I look over and I see Ozzy's dessert looks really good too. And I start getting nervous.
Chef Crystal, Chef Ozzy, that final retro round saw you making desserts from marshmallow sandwich pies, ambrosia, powdered milk, and a Shirley Temple. Starting with you, Crystal, what'd you make?
I made a no-bake ambrosia cheesecake with a marshmallow cookie crust and Shirley Temple and raspberry sauce.
You were able to emulate that old school no-bake cheesecake and elevated it. It's nostalgic.
Most people expect texture to come on top of a dish. And the fact that the texture is on the bottom is what makes it really engaging and memorable. But let me just tell you, the bottom is like grainy. It needs something to bind it.
Okay.
The use of the Shirley Temple with the raspberries really works. What's kind of tough about this is all the fruit that I end up actually eating. It's a little bit like breakfast, like yogurt and fruit.
All right, Chef Crystal, thank you. And finally, Chef Ozzy.
Hey guys, today I have for you an ambrosia-infused coconut ice cream with a kaffir lime lemongrass Shirley Temple foam and a marshmallow pie almond caramel sauce.
It's kind of bizarre, this lemongrass, lime, Shirley Temple ambrosia, and powdered milk ice cream. I mean, I love it. This is definitely by far my favorite course that you made.
Well, thank you.
For me, the biggest gripe is just the composition. I wish you just would have put all these together and trusted yourself a little bit more.
I have a problem with the almond caramelized sugar. I don't see how it fit with the citrus.
All right. In just a few minutes, the judges will have a decision. Thank you, chefs.
I'm not sure who's gonna win this.
Oh, I have no idea who's going to win this either.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's really, really, really
close. Yeah.
This is definitely a memory I'm putting in a time capsule
Absolutely.
up here.
So, judges, on the subject of time travel, do you think these are meals that you will remember in the future?
Absolutely memorable. Crystal had a really creative idea on her first course with her butter-soaked crab toast.
It felt like something out of the 70s. I just thought Crystal suffered some from the absence of basket ingredients. She obscured the spinach with the arugula. Yeah.
But it also did give some pepperiness, which I enjoyed.
I thought that Ozzy's sort of good minimalistic treatment of the crab and of the spiced ham was actually quite nice.
But he grabbed balsamic to level out the sweetness of the orange space drink, and he ended up making it even sweeter than it was.
I just don't understand Chef Ozzy's thought process of giving us pasta in the first course and then coming and following that up with rice noodles. But the real thing that was memorable for me was that lima bean puree that he had. I thought it just really stood out.
I loved Crystal's grilled cheese with the cheese ball. I thought it was homey, it was retro. I just liked it.
But in Crystal's soup, I think we were getting those strange flavors because she did take every ingredient in the TV dinner, and they are so processed.
The only thing that was redeeming was the lima beans, where I can kind of find refuge and get away from that broth.
Okay, is the choice clear?
We've got it.
Yeah.
All right.
I want that $10,000. It would make my children's life so much better. I'm really, really hoping for it.
I'd like to want it really, really badly. Take my wife on a vacation because I love her and she's spoiled rotten.
So, whose dish is on the chopping block? Chef Ozzy, you've been chopped. Judges?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chef Ozzy, we really enjoyed watching you cook, but it simply came down to matters of execution. In your main course, you served us another pasta, and we loved your dessert, although we felt the two components didn't entirely mesh together. And for these reasons, unfortunately, we have to chop you.
This was an honor cooking for you guys today. I'm gonna keep cooking and keep rocking and rolling. You have not seen the last of Chef Ozzy, I can guarantee that.
And that means, Chef Crystal River Williams, that you are the chopped champion, and the prize is $10,000. Great work.
Thank you guys so much. I am so happy and so proud. I didn't really have a home. I never have. And so to give that to my kids, it's like I give it to myself too, and I get to watch them have a beautiful life.